I want to welcome our panel of political commentators now. Susan Smith is a Liberal commentator, Tim Powers is a Conservative commentator, and Anne McGrath is an NDP commentator, National Director of the NDP. Good to see you all. Thanks for being here. Susan, let me start with you. Earlier in the program, I spoke with Chief Bobby Cameron about the discovery of 751 bodies in the unmarked grave near the site of a former Indian residential school. And we talked about what role that non-First Nations Canadians can play. And let's start there. How do you think the discovery of these bodies is changing Canadians and changing politicians?
Well, I hope it does, first of all. It's devastating. I had a sick feeling in my stomach. I'm a parent. I'm someone who might have been part of a 60s scoop. And I hope people are thinking about it that way. I think we've long known, whether we acknowledged it or not, that children died. Many children died at the residential schools. But the fact that these numbers are now being really quantified is hopefully going to hit home even more for people. Hopefully will expand the energy and effort that both governments, politicians, and ordinary Canadians make in the whole reconciliation process. Hopefully it will end some of the grumbling when money has to be spent. Hopefully it will improve the outreach between ordinary people and their First Nations and Indigenous neighbours.
Tim, what are your thoughts on this? Certainly Canadians are more aware now. It's nobody can avoid what's taking place in this country. And what do you think that means?
Well, I didn't get a chance to hear what Susan said there, but I don't think this is a partisan issue by any stretch of the imagination. It's a Canadian citizen issue. It's a Canadian issue. It's one we all need to pay attention to. Peter, how can you not be affected when you hear again the story of a gravesite coming to the fore, 751 individuals? We have to embrace this difficult discussion about our past and help it guide us toward the future. And I would hope it doesn't become too political as we head into an election season. By that, I mean, it absolutely should be debated, and parties should talk about what their policies for addressing reconciliation should be, but it shouldn't be used to stoke further racism, inflame more fear. It needs to be a tough, honest discussion that we all have. All right.
What are your thoughts, Anne?
Well, you asked what non-Indigenous Canadians can do, and I think it's pretty clear that one of the things that we're hearing is press our elected politicians, our government, the federal government, to implement all of the calls to action of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. 6 of those were particularly around the issue of burial sites and commemoration, and those can be those should all be implemented. It was promised. I remember that campaign in 2015 where Justin Trudeau said that he would implement all of them, and that hasn't been done. They need to all be implemented. And also, I think this is not just about history, it is about our present. And presently, I think what we can do is again, press our federal government to stop fighting Indigenous kids in court so that they can have access to equal education, the implementation of Jordan's principle, get rid of the boil water advisories on the First Nations where they still exist. There's a lot to be done.
Right.
Stop fighting residential school survivors in court. I really think that
it's a long list.
Immediate things that can be done. Yeah, there are immediate things that can be done, and a lot of words will be spoken over the next few days. And I think everybody is feeling that gut punch that Susan mentioned. But there are things that have to be done right now because it is our present; it's not our history.
Susan looked at, timing's bad on this for the Minister of Crown Indigenous Relations, Carolyn Bennett, publicly apologizing today after sending a text message to former Cabinet colleague and Indigenous MP Jody Wilson-Raybould. Wilson-Raybould's been urging the Prime Minister to stop jockeying for an election and focus instead on delivering transformative Indigenous rights legislation. Bennett responded to that tweet with one word: pension, implying Wilson-Raybould doesn't want an election because if it happens before October, she won't qualify for a parliamentary pension. Jody Wilson-Raybould called that sexist and racist, and it reflects the notion that Indigenous people are lazy. So all of this happening on this day when we're talking about this discovery in Saskatchewan. What's your reaction to that?
Well, it was a private exchange between two individuals who don't like each other very much. I think there's a history between the two women, and Carolyn Bennett has apologized. She said that she apologized in a public tweet for the private tweet, saying that she let her, personal opinion get in the way. Jody Wilson-Raybould interpreted the tweet from Carolyn Bennett one way. I'm pretty sure that's not how Carolyn Bennett intended it, but it's unfortunate that a spat like that, and that's what it is a spat, came to light.
Okay,
Tim, in the context of the discovery.
Is an apology enough, Tim, from Carolyn Bennett?
I think Carolyn Bennett's going to find that it's not enough. I agree it was a private exchange, but what does it say about Carolyn Bennett's judgment? First of all, as Susan rightly points out, there is a history of discord between them. Why would she respond in any manner to Jody Wilson-Raybould or look to irritate or agitate Jody Wilson-Raybould? Why would she do that right now? And why would she throw in the word pension? There's a lot of questions about judgment. And I guess when you're looking at the Minister of Crown Indigenous Relations, you want to see somebody who can step above pettiness, who's not going to step into the mud of pettiness and personal vindication, because is it not her job to lead in large measure about reconciliation? So this is going to be a tough one. The defense will be the spat, as Susan outlined it there, but I think it goes beyond all of this. And there will certainly be many Canadians who view what Jody Wilson-Raybould said and interpreted Carolyn Bennett's message to be as legitimate. And I don't think that's a good thing for Carolyn Bennett right now, and a good thing for the Liberal Party right now, with the sad stories of all these graves coming to light. Okay,
what are your thoughts on that, Anne?
Well, quite frankly, when I saw it, it took my breath away. I just thought it was repulsive. And, I mean, it's good that she apologized right away. I don't know if that's going to be enough. I think I agree with Tim. I don't think it will be enough. And that combined with the way that she's been handling the files that are in her ministry, particularly around, Indigenous issues, and the response to the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Certainly when she's been talking about the issues around, finding the graves and the burial sites, her responses sound so rehearsed and memorized and rote to me. And then, the mask slips and you see what she's, it just looked like she went from kind of parroting lines to an honest reaction that was repulsive.
Okay, let me very quick answers here if I can, 30 seconds or so each. But Tim, I want to go to you here. A new poll from Abacus Data, which is part of your firm, shows the Liberals have widened the lead over the Conservatives to 10 points now, 37 to 27, 18% for the NDP. If we're going to have a fall election, how does Erin O'Toole close that gap? And I know it's asking a lot to tell me in 30 seconds, but do your best.
I don't have a freaking clue, Peter, but I think things will tighten up. How's that for honesty? You're the most honest answer you'll get today. I think things will tighten up as we get closer to the election. I think he's going to focus on, all right, I know everybody's happy and relieved that they're getting their vaccines and the like, but you know what? We need to think about the future. We need to think about economic management. We need to be mindful of the Liberal record. And on all those fronts, the Liberals are left wanting. Whether he can make that argument in a short time frame is to be determined. All right, Susan, is the table set now for a fall vote? And how does the Prime Minister justify calling an election?
I think the table is set for a fall vote. The polling numbers are looking in that direction. And the Prime Minister, I think, will try to justify it two ways. He'll try to say Parliament isn't working. We didn't get as much through as we wanted to. But more importantly, I think what you'll hear more is about we need a mandate on the recovery agenda. We put forward this budget. We want to hear from Canadians what you think about the direction for COVID recovery.
Okay.
In terms of the Conservatives, they need to put the same kind of thing in the window. And the only way I think Erin O'Toole will go up is if Justin Trudeau stumbles.
And Jagmeet Singh keeps insisting we don't need an election, that Parliament is working, but I know you're ready as the National Director of the party for a snap election when it comes. What will it be about?
Well, I think that one of the things, at least prior to the election, is it is looking somewhat inevitable, and which is unfortunate because there is still time left in the mandate, and there are things that they promised in the budget and the throne speech that I think are good things, and it's going to look like they didn't mean it. You know, like they said that they wanted to do childcare again, and it won't get done. We have said all the way along, we're ready to work hard on those things and get them done. So I think that that'll be one question for sure, is why have an election now? And it does look cynical and manipulative. And I think that there will be a price to pay for that.
We'll see. Thank you all for your time tonight. I know we'll talk again. Take care. Bye now.
Thanks, Peter.
Bye.